Hello MBA aspirants, in this video we shall talk about 15 do's in an MBA interview. Number 1, make sure your personal appearance is prim and proper and you dress appropriately. Now this is very important that you dress formally, you dress relevantly, and you uphold the hygiene part and you look good. So it's not about the good looking syndrome but the looking good syndrome. Number 2, in case of a handshake with the panelists, make sure it is a firm one. Now, the panel will assess your personality the minute you walk in, the minute you start connecting with them, and a handshake is one of the vital ingredients of assessing a connect with the other someone. So people who extend their hands by probably dropping their hands loose or by connecting like a dead fish, the impression which they give is overtly negative. So your handshake has to be firm, proper. Please make sure that your hand is not moist, not sticky, and the hand is produced in a certain way so as to show confidence and a positive connect with the panel. Number 3, establish eye contact with the interviewer but do not stare at him. It's very important that you look at all the panelists but do not look through them. Do not stare at them. Please make sure your eye contact is proper and it is navigating so that you're able to connect with all the panelists in the panel. And it is also suggested that you shift your focus constantly from one person to another in terms of an eye contact, unless you are responding to a specific query raised by a particular panelist. Number 4, use a strong voice, clear diction, and correct grammar. Now, it's very important that you are articulate, you are loud and clear, and the usage of grammar is in place. Now, grammar does not mean that you are using high-octane vocabulary. Grammar means that your choice of words should be simple, yet should be able to convey the message at hand. Number 5, do equip yourself with sufficient knowledge about the B school you are seeking admission to. Now, what we have seen that most of the students, when they go for the interview, they haven't researched well enough with respect to the B school they are applying to. They haven't done their homework well. It's important for you to explore the website of the B school where you're going for the interview. You should know the vision and mission of the B school. You should know the quality policy of the institute. You should know about the program details. You should know about the cultural exchange programs, if any. You should also be familiar with corporate social responsibility initiatives taken by the B school. So all this will help you in creating a competitive advantage for yourself. Number 6, do take criticism gracefully and display a sense of wit as and when possible. We have seen that in certain cases the candidate does not take this kind of criticism in a positive way, and the facial expression of that someone changes. Possible that the panel is connecting with you and giving you an input which they want that you should nurture and respect. So you should be receptive, you should be open to any kind of an input given by the panel. And getting into an argument unnecessarily will only spoil your case. So when you are receiving the inputs, criticism included, you are trying to showcase a personality which is open and receptive to feedback. Number 7, do take sufficient time to think before answering tricky questions and do not be rushed into your answers. Again, avoid being impulsive. Instant gratification is not the solution. You have to ensure that once you start answering a question, you are being fair to the challenge, you are able to respond to the query in a certain way, and you do not get into an embarrassing situation like suddenly becoming quiet and suddenly pulling out. So the exit point has to be planned very carefully. So it is advocated that lest you experience trouble subsequently, you should plan your content well, and you should take a while to respond to the panelist. But once you are there, then the flow has to be maintained. So getting into the flow is very important. But before that, the thinking part is absolutely critical. And certain questions are meant only to assess your balance of personality. So if you rush into it, you come across as dangerously impulsive, which is the last thing the panel would want in a management candidate. Number 8, do state concrete goals and planning for your career. We have seen questions like, where do you see 5 years from now? Where do you see 15 years from now? Now, these questions are not there to assess your forecasting abilities, but these questions are there to see the kind of planning you do in terms of your career management, the kind of clarity you have vis-a-vis the program which you are enrolling for, vis-a-vis the different stages which are there while evolving as a management professional. So when you tell him things like, sir, I want to be the CEO of a company, I want to be the president of an organization, this is not taken well. On the other hand, if you take him through a path of, say, learning, then being a member of a team, then being a team lead, then with the passage of time, your role enlarging in terms of a leader, the scale and scope of that role enlarging, finally you getting into a strategy role. Now this is where the panel would appreciate you. You are telling him that you want to move from an operational resource, from being an operational resource to being a strategic resource. So there's nothing wrong in it. On the other hand, it is indicative of your clarity of thought and your good career management skills. Number 9, do demonstrate sufficient grasp of the key graduation concepts. A lot of people, when they enter the interview room, they disown their graduation subjects. We have seen that happening every now and then. Please remember that a management interview is not there to discount your graduation subjects. On the other hand, you have to establish a strong link between your graduation and your post-graduation. So this is not a stage for you to discount what you did a while back. This is an opportunity which you have to establish a strong connect between the two areas of study. So wherever possible, wherever the opportunity comes along, please make sure you have a grip on it, you take it forward, and you're able to demonstrate confidence and clarity of graduation concepts also. Number 10, do have sufficient knowledge of your projects and papers. Now, project is a tool for you to apply theory into practice. And management education is largely driven by projects. In fact, you have, in most of the B schools, in a 2-year program, you have a 2-month internship where you have to do a project in the industry. So if you have done projects in your graduation, for example, engineering, then please showcase them, highlight them, and try to connect some kind of a link between what you've done and what you intend to do. Similarly, if you have made any paper presentations in your graduation area, then please talk about them, because a paper presentation means that you were able to present a particular topic of study. So they can assess your knowledge vis-a-vis that particular topic, and from there they'll have an understanding of your grasp of concepts. Number 11, do support your answers with examples wherever possible. Examples, illustrations will only enrich your answer, will only add to the viability of your answer. The minute you add an example, the whole thing changes, because you are telling them that it's not just theoretical grip which you have, but you're able to appreciate an application orientation of that concept also. Number 12, do present yourself as a multi-rounded personality with the ability to learn from both academic and extracurricular activities. The minute you talk about education, it has a twofold challenge: academics on one side and extracurriculars on the other. So candidates who are able to show light in both the areas have a stronger chance to succeed. So if you've been doing that, please make sure you're able to present it in a certain way, talk about it in a certain way, so that the panel is able to appreciate your well-rounded dimension. Number 13, have a backup for various claims made during the interaction. The claim per se is not important. It's the validation of the claim which is more critical. The minute you say, sir, I'm a creative person with strong interpersonal skills. Now, creativity is for the panel to assess. Your interpersonal skills are for the panel to assess. They can ask you simple definitions of these terms. They can ask you to give examples to validate these skills. They can ask you to probably talk about the application of these skills to the management career. So whenever a claim is made, how exactly do you support it with examples and illustrations is more important. So please make sure your choice of words is accurate and you have a grip on whatever you're passing on to the panel. Number 14, try leading the panel into your comfort areas and try holding the panel there for a while. This talks about your ability to lead the panel. Given a chance, please make sure you're dropping innocuous, harmless teasers. You are leading the panel into certain desirable areas of questions. It is being driven by you and not the other way around. And the panel is mature enough to give you this kind of an opportunity. In fact, one of the critical skills for a career in management is leadership. So they will give you this kind of chance. And the first question, which is introduce yourself, is one such opportunity where you, as the candidate, you have a chance of leading the panel into certain desirable areas. So please plan your content well and lead the panel gracefully into all these areas. Number 15, thank the panel at the end and walk out with as much grace as you walked in. When you're done formally with the interview, answering the questions, the challenge is not over as yet. You still have to walk out, and walking out is as important as walking in. So the grace with which you carry yourself out is absolutely critical. So please make sure you walk with dignity, self-respect, confidence, and you thank the panel for the interaction. And when you leave the room, please close the door of the room and look confident, and this should help you. We hope that these 15 tips will help you on that important day, the MBA interview day. Thank you and best wishes.